Hello, everyone, and welcome to my freak show. I am so excited to have you guys here tonight. I apologize, it's been a little time. My kids got sick. My mother-in-law moved into a new home. And I have been obsessed with AHS Mortuary. So I am so excited to talk to you guys tonight because there's so many things I discovered about the script, the storyline, and everything. Okay, let me just start. As you guys know, I'm writing a season of American Horror Story called AHS Mortuary. I generally thought that, as usual, it takes about maybe 3 minutes per page in regards to a script. Hey, Blaze, so great to have you. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it, as usual. So generally, my scripts were 20 pages, and then I plugged them into I actually plugged them into the script format. And then I realized I only had like 17 pages of a script. And then I realized, okay, so what I thought was an hour-long episode was not. So it was awesome because I was able to go back and crunch things together. I was in episode 6. That's where I was in writing the script. So I was almost done with episode 6. So then I just had the rest of the season, which was 7 through 13. So just 6 more left. I was so into it. I was going so hard. And then it just felt like everything was being forced, such as, Deep Thinker and Hogwarts people, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. It felt like the storylines were forced. Nothing was coming natural. And I didn't understand why that was happening. So then I realized, take episode 1 and plug it in as a script and see where I am as Misty Knight. As usual, thank you for being here too. And then I realized I was so short in pages that's why there wasn't enough time for so much development. It wasn't long enough. So I actually took episode 2 and plugged it in with episode 1, changed things around, fixed things around, and it actually worked into a 47-page script. I was so happy. And then I realized, okay, so this is how I know that my episode is actually going to be an hour long. No, like 37-minute episodes. I don't like that bullshit. In my opinion, the scripts need to be about 50 pages minimum long. So just so happened for some reason that the first episode actually came out to 47 pages. Jared, so great to have you. I'm so glad you're able to join a live. I know tomorrow is Easter, and I just wanted to get with you guys and just see how y'all are doing and let you know what's going on with the AHS Mortuary. So once I discovered that the scripts that I had created from episode 1 through episode 7 weren't long enough by far. So I had to go back and condense and finally add characters and backstories that I wanted to actually add, such as, in my season, there were only 2 true crimes because, American Horror Story is always based off of certain real American horror stories in the United States. The first one I picked was the 1947 Roswell incident. The second one that I picked was the JonBenet Ramsey murder. And I wanted to put in a third one. And with the way that my scripts were going, there was no room to add in a third one. I'm already writing. I'm halfway through the season. All of my big surprises were coming in the final episode. We're coming in after episode 6. As a matter of fact, episode 7 is going to be so beautiful. It's one of my favorite ones. I'm not going to lie. That's where Frank, I can't say it right now. But so when I realized that, oh my God, I wasn't writing long enough because I didn't realize that these scripts, that when I convert what I've written into an actual script, woohoo! Yeah, it wasn't actually long enough. So I was able to go back and do character development. And one of the American Horror Story true crimes that I really wanted to add in this season, didn't get a chance to, but when I realized that I was writing the scripts too short, I'm able to add it. So have you guys ever heard of the Stainer brothers, Stephen and Carrie Stainer? Stephen Stainer was abducted when he was like 6 or 7 years old, held hostage for 7 years, and then he finally escaped his captor with another little boy that his captor had just abducted as well. Stephen turned out, to be a hero, had some real problems with his life because his time in captivity was horrendous. And sadly, he ended up dying in a motorcycle accident when he was still in his early 20s. However, his older brother, Carrie, went on to be the Yosemite killer. So it's just so weird on how two brothers, one was a hero and one was a murderer. So I really wanted to incorporate that because, in my opinion, I've seen it everywhere. The Stainer brothers are a true American horror story. And I thought, okay, that's perfect to actually add into my season of American Horror, a true American Horror Story. So I got to add that in, and I'm really excited about that. Jared, thank you so much for commenting. Jared says, I miss the days when AHS episodes used to be 45 to 50 minutes plus each episode. Yes, my episodes, the minimum script length is 50 minutes, and each page is allegedly 1 minute long. So with pauses, tears, actually, I expect my episodes to exceed 50 minutes because there's such as Maya Bowen. She is the grief-stricken widow of Carl, who is Angela Bassett. She has some great scenes in episode 1 where I have her crying to God. And then I have a scene in episode 2 with Aaron Worthington, the grocery store owner, of where he's writing a journal to his daughter. And there's just so much emotion that's packed into there that there's no way that's just going to be a 1 minute dialogue scene. So minimum, the script is 50 pages. But like I said, with emotion and suspense and tension, it's definitely going to make them almost an hour. So I'm really happy about that. I don't want anything cut, but it was my intention to literally write 1 hour long scripts because I was so sick of 30-minute or of 39-minute episodes because 20 minutes were freaking commercials. No, not in my season. My season is actually going to be full. Deep Thinker in Hogwarts Pupil says, yep, I read that story. I know, it's really sad. And actually, when I was at Half Price recently, I found the movie, I Know My First Name is Steven. And I saw that movie when it aired in the late 80s. It was right after Stephen Stainer died that the movie was aired. She's detected at front door. Sorry, I forgot to turn off Alexa. But yeah, I watched that movie when I was a real little kid, and then I saw it again when they put it on. I'd never seen it again, and then I saw it at Half Price Books on DVD, and I was like, oh my God, I need to see this because I wanted to incorporate that into my American Horror Story, and it was like the American Horror Story gods were just right there. Am I considering an audio series for it? Yes. So actually, okay, this is what my intention is for the season. Since I've realized that I can do a lot more, episode 1 is fully done. Episode 2 is almost fully done. So like I said, I've written up to episode 7. So I just have to take the first 6 episodes and condense them and put back in the storylines that I wanted so I can expand them back out to be a full 6 episodes. Wonderful. Then I'm going to continue with the rest of the season. Now, I have everything done for the first 1 through 7 episodes. It's basically written. All I need to do is add in the extra stuff that I wanted to add in, important character development, the Stephen and Steri Stainer case. Stephen and Carrie Stainer case, and just, good character development and the alien aspect. There's just so much of it that I really wanted to develop. And now I've actually got the time to do it. So all that, it'll just probably take me 4 days to finish the rest of episode 2 through 6. And then it literally won't take me but 2 weeks to actually do episode 6 through 13 because they're outlined. I already know what I want to happen in them. I just have to write the dialogue and the actual scenes, which isn't hard for me at all. When my kids were sick, my poor daughter, Vale, was having a high fever. She wanted to sleep in my bed, but I felt really bad because my husband had work the next morning. He had just come back from Vegas from a business trip. He was exhausted, and I felt so bad for him. So I went and slept in her bed, in her bedroom on her floor. I didn't like sleeping on the floor, but it was badass because she couldn't go to sleep. And I was able to really type out so much mortuary stuff that I wanted to actually come through, and then realize, oh, my scripts aren't long enough. So yeah, it's been awesome staying up and just putting on horror music and just letting my creative juices flow. I don't understand. It's like for a book, it's sometimes a little harder. And I know I told you guys that for me, it's difficult to adjust my style from writing novels to writing scripts, but it's so much easier to write the scripts. I just have to plug in the dialogue and basically the emotion and the action, which doesn't need to be too long, the emotion and the action. But it's so much simpler. So it's been a lot easier for me to write the scripts and to actually complete them. Okay, now what am I going to do with all of this basically once I'm done? Because I anticipate that May 20th or May 21st, I'll be done. Fully done with episode 1 through 13, all character developments, all twists, all turns, all everything, all scripts done, ready, packaged up, printed, good to go. And then I wondered, why waste it? I mean, why waste it? I'm going to write a season for American Horror Story. Why waste it? So once I am done and basically at the final script, I am going to solicit literary agents. And I'm going to send over, obviously, a query and a package, a promo package, and try to see if somebody will read it, and if somebody will like it, and if somebody will maybe believe in it enough to present it to Ryan Murphy Productions. But yes, I have decided 1,000,000% that I'm not going to let this script waste. No, okay. I am not going to email anything to anyone. Okay, let me go into that first. And Blaze, thank you so much for admiring the collection. I'm going to get a new camera soon, so you guys will be able to actually see it. But I did this intentionally, so you guys would actually be able to see the collection. My babies, this is like kind of like action and comedy all right there. And then horror. And these are, of course, my Dario Argentos, my Evil Dead movies, and A through H. And then H through all those down there, and then my Maxines and stuff back there. But yes, and so thank you for liking it. I would email it to Ryan. However, I have done this before. When I was in my early 20s, 3 girls that I knew passed away, and it really hit me hard. I was maybe only 23, 24. And when they died, I thought, it's just so sad that Rainey, Raven, and Jen, when they died, I mean, of what could have become of their life. They were all so smart and wonderful people. They were killed by a drunk driver. And so I thought, well, you know what? I'll write something. That'll show what they would have done with their lives had they have lived. And so I got into this 3 series where Rainey was the first, Raven was the middle, and Jen was the last. So it was a trilogy of where they went back in time to actually change 3 key events to, I think, stop our U.S. from being invaded, something like that. I don't remember. Yeah, where I had it at that point. This was like over 20 years ago. So I actually wrote it. I didn't write it in script form. I wrote it like novel style. And it was over, 100 pages or something like that. And of course, like a dumbass, I emailed it as an attachment to to Warner Brothers, to Paramount, like the big Miramax, to all those big places at the time, those movie production companies where you are supposed to submit the script. And of course, never heard anything back. And then lo and behold, I'm in Blockbuster 3 years later. And I see a movie called Time Quest. And I'm like, Time Quest? I was like, that sounds cool. And the tagline is, what if JFK's death could have been prevented? And I was like, wow, that kind of sounds like the story that I made. And sure enough, I picked it up and turned around, and it was almost the exact same story that I had made and solicited. Not exactly. Obviously, they fucked up a lot of good parts and changed. It It was Rainey who did it. So they changed Rainey with a guy, with an old man. I have the movie, actually. And I have learned my lesson. I never solicit to Hollywood. So after I'm done with the 13 episode script, I'm going to copyright it and make sure it's protected under my work, under my name, and then solicit the literary agent. It's not going to take very long to have it copywritten, not very long at all. And as long as I put in the paperwork and protect it, it's my right. It's my work. So, which is really great. I would think that scripts are easier too. Yeah, the character development doesn't seem to be as intense. I could be wrong. It's just that you have to really do it in dialogue instead of actions and thoughts by the actual characters. You don't, in a novel, you know it's in their head because it's written usually from their perspective or from somebody else's perspective. And so you get a good idea of the feelings, the emotions, you get the vibe. But you don't really get that with scripts because you can't really add that in there. So it's the dialogue that really drives the scene and the emotions and the tone. At least it kind of was that way for me. So yes, it is a lot easier. Deep Thinker in Hogwarts People also says, protect your work, sis. Yes, exactly. Buffy DeVille says, that's how I think of my DVDs, my babies. No one is allowed to touch. Exactly. Nobody is allowed to mess with these. And if my son wants the John Wick movies or the Transformers or the Jurassic Worlds or Jurassic, whatever, he knows he's got to ask me first because nobody can just come pull out of my collection. My daughter had a slumber party actually for her best friends a couple of weekends ago. And they came up here and they looked all through my collection. I was like, if you want something, you have to tell me and I'll take it out for you. They were so sweet. They were a little bunch of 12-year-olds. White Bear Production says, rip Blockbuster. I know, right? Misty says, just the I Know My First Name is Steven movie. Oh, yeah, it's on for 3 hours. Yeah, I know. It was and you just found it? Oh, yeah, I know. It's so weird. It must have come out in 2001, when they were actually starting to produce DVDs, because it's a 2-disc version. It's so weird. Blaze says, same, and I like to organize my DVDs by movies. If there are any prequels or sequels, they go next to each other. I'm really picky with that. Me too, Blaze. Down here. My girls have to all go together. Maxine, Pearl, and X, they have to be together. And my Dr. Sleep and The Shining, they're together. I hear you. I don't go alphabetically in that way. I have to keep my babies together. They gotta be together. Okay, guys, really quickly, controversial. Which one was best? X, Pearl, or Maxine? Which one was your favorite? Let me know in the comments. Me, Pearl. I'm sorry. Don't hate me, guys. I really loved X and Maxine, but Pearl, I could sit down any day and watch this one. It's really good. So anyway, controversial topic if you guys want to answer. But I do the same, Blaze, 100%. Brad says, long time no talk. I know, Brad. It's so great to have you here. Thank you so much for being here. Deep Thinker in Hogwarts People says, I can't watch that movie about Stephen. Okay, there are certain films that I just can't stomach. Which says a lot, right? I could only watch Bastard Out of Carolina. I could barely watch that one, so I hear you. Once by myself and then with my grandmother. Yeah, those kind of movies, exactly. They're just too intense. So, Blaze says Pearl was my favorite. Yeah. Jared says Pearl is my fave of the 3, but X is a close second. I love that crazy bitch Pearl. Yeah. Absolutely. Pearl is so unhinged and I love it. Absolutely. Okay, so again, I'm going to finish the scripts and then I'm going to solicit it to Hollywood. However, before I get a literary agent, I need to know if this shit is good or not. And I need somebody to tell me, Mary, this sucks, or Mary, this decent, or Mary, this is good. I just need an honest opinion. You guys know what I mean. You need someone to tell you if your work sucks or not. And for me, I always tell people, just give me an honest opinion. I can take criticism. I'm not that kind of, oh, thank you so much, Brad. I really appreciate you becoming a new member. Thank you so much. Yes, Blaze, I am absolutely going to copyright that mofo first. Thank you so much, Brad. I really appreciate it. I will not let you down. And so, yeah, I'm going to copyright it. And I want, most importantly, after that, I would like for you guys, I don't know how you would read it, but I don't know, maybe we can just go by an episode live stream of where maybe we just have like a focus group of a certain amount of people. And I give you guys the script. I'll send it to you. You have a week to read it. And then we get together for that stream. And you guys just let me know your thoughts and opinions on it. Because that will really help me fix things and make sure that it's set for submission to an agent. Now, I'm so excited because, like I said, I put so much work in this episode, or in these episodes. Like I said, I've only gotten up to episode 7. However, 7 through 13 are outlined, what's going to happen, and the major reveals. And there's so many deaths too in the AHS Mortuary. It's like you definitely need a kill count for it. There's so many murderers, and it's just, oh man, I am so excited for you guys to actually see it and tell me what you think of it. So probably what I will do is start this weekend. Obviously, I'm just going to finish on the work that I'm doing. But this week, I'll definitely put thought in to how I get a focus group together with you guys and how we can actually get together. Y'all can read the script and you can tell me like what you thought, what you liked, what you didn't like. And again, you're not going to hurt my feelings. I take criticism all the time. My mother-in-law lived here for over a year. Trust me, I am so used to criticism. Sadly so. But absolutely, I can take the criticism and make my work better. That's just how I am. If somebody thinks that something is really terrible and I think that it's really good, well, I'm not writing it mostly for myself. I'm writing it for other people too. Yes, this might be American Horror Story Mortuary, what I want to see, but I'm a fan. So are you. This is for us. This might be what I want in a season, but it's also what you guys would want in a season. And there's one thing that I did not get in this season that I wanted, and I am very upset about, and that is sirens. I wanted to have a season actually with sirens. There were two supernatural elements that have never been featured on American Horror Story. And that's werewolves and sirens. And I am covering werewolves. So I'm really excited about that. So yeah, the casket killer is basically a werewolf. And it's really awesome. I've put so much thought into this, guys. Literally so much. It's awesome. But yes, and I wanted to have sirens, but I had to trade that off for aliens. And probably asking, why did you trade sirens for aliens? Well, it was just my idea that Sarah Paulson and Evan Peters would be brother and sister, but they would be aliens. And that's just how I've always seen this season. That's what started me off in this thought process of AHS Mortuary, is that Sarah and Evan are a married couple. They're aliens that crashed in Mourning, Vale in 1947, and with her parents. And because they're so young when they crash and they appear human, people obviously aren't going to think that they're husband and wife, so they have to appear as their brother and sister. So they took over the mortuary because they need human hearts for fuel for their ship so they can get back into orbit and get back home to their planet. They don't want anybody to know that they're there. They saw basically what happened to Lily's sister ship that crashed in Roswell and what happened to them. So they're very scared and they're ready to leave Earth now. And that was my whole basis, is that they run a mortuary so they can get the human hearts as fuel for their spaceship. And so that is how it was actually stacked. And then that's when I thought, well, wait, okay, so that's where it starts. We've got aliens, but I need another supernatural element. And first thing that clicked in my mind was werewolves. And the second thing that clicked into my mind is true crime. So those are the three elements that I'm trying to focus, that I am focusing on. However, so much more. It's like Asylum. I have so many side stories going that pay off and give you so much information on the town, the people, the past. I'm so excited for you guys to see it, because again, I've literally put so much thought and work and outline and plotting and planning and thoughting and just mathing. So I'm really excited to show that to you guys. But yeah, it is absolutely going to be done in a month. 1 month, I'll have that fully done. And then probably what I'll do is at the end of April is I'll start asking people who would like to join my focus group. And that way we'll take it like maybe every other day or something like that. We can talk about the scripts or whichever, and you guys can give me that information of what you think. But we'll focus on that at the end of the month. I'll just going to keep working on it as I have. So Blaze says me and Debbie should work on a season. I know, right? If they accept this season, I'm going to let them know. If you want more good seasons, you have to hire Debbie, Ebby, Babebby too. If you want me, you want her. Brad says, been around since the closet times. Oh, yes, and was sent into chaos during the pandemic. So glad to be back. Yes, I know, right, Brad? When I was in the closet, that's what I'm actually looking at right now. It's on the other side of the camera. Now, I'm not in the closet. I can just actually see the double doors that open up into it. So it is nice to actually be out of the closet with an actual set. Isn't it nice? White Bear says it's going to be awesome. Thank you so much, White Bear. Buffy DeVille says Ryan's fault. He promised to put Sarah in a mermaid suit for a season, but still nothing. If they would let me do another season, then I would absolutely do a siren season. Jared says, I really want a season with a Sasquatch in it. Werewolves and sirens will be awesome too. Think about Sasquatches. Love that. So basically we have Sally Kennedy, who is the captain, and then Wade Foster, who is the chief of police. And we have a couple of people under them, just some officers, detectives, lieutenants, and they are trying to solve the murders of the casket man, who is actually murdering people by way of ripping them apart. And then after draining their bloods, and then sewing them back together, dressing them up. So, suits, dresses, if it's, depending on the gender, and then puts them in a casket that they have rebuilt or that they have built, engraves their name on it, and leaves that casket in the cemetery for people to find and actually bury them. So they're trying to find the casket killer. And then they have Nick Calloway wandering around town, who is a reporter. I want to say America Unmasked, but that's Lana Winters. But he's a reporter for kind of a tabloid magazine. And he definitely believes in conspiracy theories, and he's the one who brings it to Sally Kennedy. Remember, that's Billy Lord, and she is the captain of the police. He brings it to her that their new victim, Crichton Dunsworth, who was just found at the beginning of the episode, photographed an alien spaceship from his house on June 10th, 1947. And he explains to her that he thinks that aliens are behind the murders of the casket man. Okay. So we have him, and then we have Detective Mark Whalen, who is Cheyenne Jackson. He is the Steven Stainer of the show. And then his brother, Matthew McConaughey, plays, I think I have him playing Terry Whalen. So Terry is not a bum, but he loves to be in the woods. He loves to be away from people. He loves solace. He doesn't really give a shit about anybody other than himself. So we also have other people like Aaron Worthington, who is played by Bruce Campbell. He owns and runs the grocery store, the local market, which is called Boomer's Groovy Market. Because allegedly he says everybody called him Boomer in college. So he calls it Boomer's Groovy Market. And when I say he, yes, he. These characters have a life of their own. That's how you actually make them so good. You actually have to think like them so the dialogue matches and everything like that. Anyway, and then we have the Prescott family, who is like the richest family in town. Mr. Rick Prescott owns Prescott Fabrics and Prescott Construction. And they are the John Bonet family of the season. So their youngest daughter, Rosie, will be taken basically on after their Christmas party that they have on Christmas Day. But she'll be found in the attic. So obviously things are changed, but it's based off of that case and the investigation surrounding it. But on this, though, we will actually know the murderer. I will give you closure and let you know who killed Rosie Prescott. And then once we find out who the werewolf is, somebody bit that werewolf. So there's like a hunt because Lana Winters comes back in episode 6 because it's titled America Unmasked, because Lana is there because now Rosie Prescott has been killed. The casket man is now there. There's young teenage girls and 20-year-old something girls that have gone missing in the forest surrounding Mourning Vale, and some have been found burned, murdered and burned, all evidence completely burned. And so basically Lana is there because at this point, Lana is in her career, and I made sure in the timeline. And this time in 1981, Lana is working for a show called America Unmasked. So Lana takes her show, America Unmasked, to Mourning Vale, and she's going to do a lot of filming in certain places and give a lot of exposition about murders, missing people, stuff like that. She'll be there for 3 episodes and maybe come back for the finale. I'm not sure. But her half-brother Frank, lives in Mourning Vale. So we'll definitely get Lana and Frank together. It's going to be a very nice little surprise that we're actually going to get to meet a part of Lana's family. I also show how Lana and Frank are related. So, yeah, I literally have so much in there. And then we have Glenn Close, who plays Deli. I want to say Hollingsworth, but I don't think that's her last name. But Deli lives right next door to Maya, Maya Bowen and her daughter Paula. They're grieving after Carl's death. And so, yeah, I mean, there's just, oh my God. And then we have MJ Rodriguez playing Laurice Johnson. Laurice is a single mother of 3 boys, Jamal, Trey, and Tim. Jamal, 16. Trey is like 14, and little Tim is like 9. And she's a single mother. She had the crap beaten out of her by her husband, Michael. So she's not with them anymore. She basically kicked him out. However, he's one of those types of guys where like, he's not leaving. He's like going on vacation. And that means that he's living with his mistress. So he won't give Laurice a divorce, and he's not there for the boys, and he doesn't contribute financially. So she's doing the whole thing herself while her husband is just running off being an asshole and totally ignoring his kids, which he is murdered at the end of episode 1 by Laurice. You don't see it, but Jamal does. And it's, I'm so excited. And then let's see. Angelica Ross, I believe, plays Corinne Bradley, who is Rosie's little piano teacher. She works with all the kids in the town. Everybody knows her, and she knows a lot of information too. And then we have one last really great person. Then we have one really nice, great person. I want to say, is it Corinne? Corinne Bradley is played by Adina Porter. She is the head of the retirement home in Mourning Vale, and she kind of has a financial agreement with Lily and Tom that when people die at the retirement home, basically they refer the families and the bodies and everything over to the Heart Mortuary, so that way they can get the business and get the hearts and all that stuff. So yeah, I am just, there's so many different characters. I still haven't cast Paula yet because I see her as a Tara from True Blood, and I really wanted that actress. But she is like in her mid-40s, I believe. And Paula, sadly, is like 29, 30 years old. So I can't cast her as Paula. But she is the type of person that I see in regards to Paula. Not as severe, but that type. So I don't know. I see her. I see Tara whenever I write for Paula. So anyway, there's still some people that have yet to be cast. And yeah, there's been a lot of things that I've been working on. So I'm really excited. I wanted one thing is that to have Sexy Scathach back. You know me in the woods and Sexy Scathach. Maybe if I actually have enough time, maybe I'll put a Sexy Scathach crossover because this is the North Carolina. Blaze says, what other Ryan show would you want a crossover with AHS for? Me, 911. I don't really know at this point, to be honest with you. Maybe American Crime Story. I think that's something I would absolutely like a crossover with AHS for. Misty Knight says, Mary, I was randomly thinking of you earlier this afternoon. Oh, thank you, because someone had posted a pic of horror version of Mount Rushmore with the heads of Pinhead, Chucky, and Billy from Saw and Ghostface. Oh my God. People in the comments were saying 4 heads should have been Jason, Michael, Freddy, and Leatherface. And she says, reason was thinking of you, Mary, regarding this because I know you like horror. You're right. Absolutely. Glenn Close, yeah. Too. And she actually is dating Aaron Worthington, the owner of the grocery store. So, and they live next door. Well, Glenn Close does. Deli does. Aaron doesn't have a house, but he will live with her. So Sexy Scathach is a true icon. Exactly. And Blaze says, we need Lady Gaga back for a season. I know, right? You know what? If I have time, maybe I will put Sexy Scathach in there. You guys are awesome. Thank you. So that is basically where I am. I wrote basically episode 1 through 6, realized they weren't long enough, and then went back and I'm actually fixing them to where they are long enough, minimum 50 pages for a full hour-long episode, of course, with a couple of commercials, sadly. But I would prefer this to not have, I would prefer it to be ad-free, in my opinion. So, but I understand that might not happen, so they're minimum 50 pages for 50 minutes. But again, no freaking 39-minute episodes here. None of them. They are full to the brim with information, shit happening, barely any downtime. I mean, it's just, oh, I'm so ready for you guys to see this. So I'm going to actually start getting ready so I can actually continue. My goal tonight is laundry and AHS Mortuary. Yesterday was so badass. I was able to actually go into my kitchen and just be in there and clean it. I stayed up until 2 a.m. mopping it and cleaning the walls because I wanted to. Because I had so much going on in me of AHS Mortuary that I was talking and using voice type on my Google Drive. So I was, talking about, Larry says, so I was actually writing scripts while I was doing all that cleaning last night. It was just so great. I have so much ideas that I couldn't even fit into this season. So I'm hoping that by this season, they'll have me do another one, and then you guys will get your siren season because I already have a great idea because I have already looked for true American horror stories on sirens, and I already know what to incorporate. Boom. But so again, once I finish that, I'm going to get together a little focus group. I'm going to copyright it first, and then I'm going to find a literary agent, and then I'm going to see how I can submit it to Ryan Murphy Productions and get Ryan to actually look at it, read it, and maybe want to do it. Wouldn't that be badass? My kids asked me, they said, Mom, would we get paid money for that? And I said, well, if they want to pay, that's fine. But if they want to make my season of American Horror Story, I'll do it for a punch in the face. That's all I'll take for payment. If Ryan Murphy himself wants to punch me in the face, that's what I'll take for payment. Just kidding. No, but it's not about money. It's about having I love this show and I don't want it to die out just yet. And I think us as fans, we know what we want to see and we know what was our favorite traits. So we want to see that not reincorporated, but reiterated in some other new great ways into the show and to make it still spicy, wonderful, action-packed, scary. I mean, because let's just be honest, the last few seasons haven't really been that scary. Maybe Delicate could be a little bit construed as scary, but NYC was just, wow, that was a huge downer. And then of course, the double feature was a crash test dummy in a front car that went 1,000 miles an hour in front of a bus that just obliterated. That's what double feature was. 1984 was like the only last really good season, in my opinion, that AHS has had. And it's time. Season 10 shouldn't be the last good season. And then before that, really, I don't even know if we got a really good season up until the hotel. Oh, I can't say. I hate to say that, but we all know it's true. It just has to go back to their formula that made us fall in love with it. And I basically feel like I know that formula. So as a writer, I can reiterate that formula that we love so much into a new season of American Horror Story and make it just as good. So I am, again, really excited. And now I do apologize, guys. Trivia will be coming back up and the podcast. I don't honestly know what happened. I thought I had those uploaded. And then when I came to make the link here for this live stream, I realized that nothing had been actually posted. And I was like, what happened? So I actually have to go back and look and find out what happened to the podcast and why they're not showing. Because I have top 5 worst seasons. I have top death scenes. I mean, I have so much of the podcast for you guys. I don't understand why they haven't been posted, but that's obviously on me. And I need to go look at that and fix it. I will be back on Friday night because we're going to do trivia next Friday. I'm really excited. And then we'll actually talk regular American Horror Story next Saturday. And I will be putting up those links. So don't worry. All that stuff will already be pre-set up. So let's just take, Blaze says ad-free is the best. Let's just take some comments. And I agree, Blaze, ad-free is the absolute best. Misty says, you absolute legend. Oh, thank you so much, Misty. So are you, darling. Blaze says, Red Tide was good. I agree. It's just the ending was shitty. Okay. Damn it. What movie did I? Oh, Black Mirror. Did you guys watch the new episodes of Black Mirror? Maybe that's what we should do. Maybe tomorrow night, let's have a live stream and talk about Black Mirror, because I absolutely spent all day binging those episodes when Black Mirror came out brand new this last week. There was one episode in there that I loved so much, and it was episode 2. And the ending surpassed my expectations of what I thought it was. But I didn't like the ending. So maybe we can actually talk about that. Motions detected at front door. Sorry. So maybe we can talk about Black Mirror, because Red Tide reminds me so much of kind of that episode of Black Mirror. So much great was in Red Tide. However, when it came to the final 2 episodes or the final 3 episodes, it was bad. The ending is what did it. They set up such an amazing season that got us so interested. I mean, you guys know me. I thought Doris was a freaking alien. I could not believe that we only got 5 episodes. And it really fell apart in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th episode. So, I don't know. I agree with Misty right here. Misty Knight says Red Tide should have been all of the 10 episodes. Yes, as the episode 6 felt very rushed. Yes, 100%. 100%. They should have absolutely, if they wanted to do a double feature, they shouldn't have done 5 episode, or 6 episode, 6 episode. They should have done 10 episode, 10 episode. And I know that's probably how could they have done that? Are you kidding me? That would have been great promotion for them. 20 episodes of AHS and a double feature that we're going to get. They could have aired the first 10 episodes, waited another month, and then aired the next 10. And they could have gotten more production. They could have got more payment. They could have got more views. And I'm sure it is difficult to do them at the same time, which absolutely, but Red Tide and Death Valley didn't overlap. I mean, Sarah Paulson was in there for just such a short time, and Death Valley, I mean, they didn't really need her so much. So, in my opinion, As long as they would have kept certain actors on certain sides, they could have done 10 episodes of Red Tide, 10 episodes of Death Valley, or 7-7. That's 14. That would have been so much better. Not like 6-6. It's 12. I mean, I am on episode 12 right now for me and developing my American Horror Story. I could not imagine having to do it in 6 episodes. 6 episodes to tell everything that I want to tell. No, I can barely do it in 13. And like I said, there's so many backstories and back stuff that, like Asylum, mattered and made the show meatier. Does that make sense? When we eat American Horror Story, when we ingest it, we're ingesting the meatiest, juiciest stuff that we love. And that's why we loved like Asylum and Coven so much, and Hotel and 1984. It was just meaty stew, pun intended, for us. That's what I want for my season. My season has so much meat in there, you can barely put it in your mouth. I guess that's what he said. But I digress. Agree with you completely, Misty Knight. White Bear says, yippee! That's what my daughter says all the time. That is so cute. Blaze says, right, and Death Valley should have been a full season. Exactly. Well, I don't know. Maybe they could have just left Death Valley out, put to the side, did something else. Brad Miller says, new Black Mirror? I'm on it. Thanks for notifying. Yeah, there's like 6 or 7 episodes. They were, I would say they were pretty good. I don't think they were as great as Loch Ness, but, you know, and like State of the Nation, you know, with the bees. But this brand new season 7, I guess this was, they incorporated a lot of previous stuff into the new season. I thought that was really cool. There were some good episodes. I just didn't think it was as strong normally as it has been in previous seasons. Like with Jonah's Awful. I loved that one so much. But anyway, Blaze says my favorite episode of Black Mirror is Nosedive. My favorite one is with the bees. Oh my God, I love that one. Jared said, been watching the new Black Mirror the past couple of days. Had to finish Yellow Jacket season 3 first. Still have 2 episodes of the new season of Black Mirror left, which I'll watch tonight. Yeah, don't worry. I'm not going to spoil anything for you guys. I did enjoy a lot the final episode of season 7 because it has Paul Giamatti in it, and he's a really good actor. And I just thought that he did, I don't know, I just got so immersed in the story. The way that they told it was so easy. I don't want to mean to say that's anything bad. It was just so easy to get into the story. It was so easy to kind of relate with this guy. So I really enjoyed that final episode. So I do hope you enjoy them tonight, Jared. Brad said, I also love Nosedive as well as San Junipero. Yes! I loved San Junipero. Is that with the 2 girls who were there on like different wavelengths? And that's the one that that's where you go once you pass or something like that. So they're older and they're meeting as young girls or young ladies. I don't know if that was the one that was in, but if that's what you're talking about, I know I love that one too. I still have to watch season 3 of Yellow Jackets. I'm so sorry. White Bear Production says double feature should have the same episode count as The Walking Dead was. You think so? Misty Knight says it was 6 out of 4, but I know what you mean. 7 out of 7 or 10 out of 10 would have been better for double feature. Okay, so it was 6 episodes for Red Tide and 4 for Death Valley. Gotcha. Yeah, that was just so crazy. Blade says, Coven is so iconic. Indeed. Brad says, haha. White Bear says, OMG, this season has a continuation to the previous season episode. Really? Oh, Black Mirror. Yes, that's right. Oh, that's right. I know. I'm so excited. White Bear Production has me even more excited, says Brad. Jared says San Junipero is the best episode. And Brad says, yes, 697. All right. Oh, sorry. The keyboard is different. Says Brad. No problem. All right, guys. Well, I will be back with you guys on Friday. We're going to do, we're either going to do some American Horror Story talk or we'll do some quiz. Something like that. I'll decide what we're going to do. Or you guys can let me know what you want in the comments. What do you want to do on Friday? Should we talk about Black Mirror? Should we talk about, I haven't seen Yellow Jackets yet. We can talk about something. You guys let me know in the comments if you have a topic for me. And then Saturday we'll chat actual American Horror Story. Let's talk news, season 13 information. Let's just talk all information American Horror Story and any theories or anything that you guys know that you might have. So Misty says, just found season 7 Black Mirror. Thanks for letting me know, Mary. Absolutely. Oh, honey, you're going to enjoy that tonight. Let me tell you something. I cannot tell you there wasn't one episode that I didn't like. And there was one episode that I did not like of Black Mirror, and that was the guy and the pig. I think it was like the very first episode of Black Mirror. That one I did not like. The state of the, something about with the guy and the pig. No, I will never watch that episode ever again. I thought it was, no. Oh, I don't know how to say no other than I will never watch that episode again, even out of curiosity. Okay. So I will definitely see you guys next week. Podcast, I'll make sure there's one up tomorrow for you guys. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you so much to Brad for becoming a new member. You are awesome. Thank you so much. And you are all awesome for being here as well. Thank you guys for listening to my babble to American Horror Story Mortuary. I really appreciate it very much. Misty wants to know, is the first episode of season 7 any good? Yes. I don't remember what it was about because I remember the second episode. The second episode is the one that really got me because I knew what was going on. And then at the end of the episode, I was like, oh, I was wrong. So, yeah, I think it was. So, yeah, absolutely. Brad says, see you soon. Going to catch up on Black Mirror. I know you all are. Good to see you all again. The first episode of Black Mirror with the pig set me off too. Yes. It certainly was a shock, but also so real. Bye. I know, guys, I love you all so much. I'm going to have a snacky, do my laundry, and work on AHS Mortuary. You all are the best. Thank you again so much for being here. I'll see you guys on Friday. And I love you all. And, of course, beware of sexy Scathitch. The weather is getting so much nicer out there. So you know she's out there looking for some sexy guy. It's probably you. So be careful. Bye, guys.